Take two. Episode 13. Trev's Top 10s here on Trev TV. I'm the Trev. It's too sweet. This is also video number 300 overall between 3 channels. So yay, accomplishments. And for everybody who missed it, because my biggest complaint was I didn't do it, but that's your own fault for not watching to the end of part 1. I'm not above rickrolling you. This is part 2 of Trev's top 10 songs from the 80s. Why part 2? Because there's so many. Really, there is. And I couldn't just end it at 1. With everything I thought of, with everything everybody I was talking to thought of, there's just so many. So, in no particular order, we'll start with number 10. But first, I feel I have to add this. I am including covers. The only way this list would work is if I included covers. But don't worry, there's not that many. And if you don't know my opinion on covers, let me know. I'll make a video explaining why I think what I do about covers. Number 10. I don't know how many of you have heard of Smokey. If you have, you probably know where I'm going. Song's called Who the Fuck is Alice? If you haven't heard it, I'll let your reaction to it speak for itself. It's almost like the rodeo song. The first time you hear that, you can't help but laugh. That's my number 10. Just thinking of it makes me dance. It's a fun song. It's a party song. Like, how do you not dance to this song at a party or any given function? Even if you're at a metal show and they bust out Lionel Richie, because they do bust out weird shit at metal shows, I can guarantee you that. Not too many people got to see Trev sing and Dr. Dre at a Cancer Bat show. Take that one to heart. Really, other than it's fun and it's a good party song, everything just flows right with it. So how can you hate on it? Despite the fact it's Lionel Richie and you want to basically try and say, hey, I don't listen to Lionel Richie. Bullshit. I kicked myself in the ass when I didn't put it Huey Lewis on part 1. I want a new drug. One that won't make me sick. One that won't make me wreck my car. Again, it's a catchy tune. Between the synthesizers alone, you don't need to worry too much about what Huey's doing on the guitar, because you're more concentrated on the synthesizers. That's the backbeat of the song and the bass tone. If you're not aware, I'm a big fan of bass tones. It flows, and it's a good song. And the fact that Huey Lewis does it, really, I couldn't imagine anybody else doing it. I couldn't. So, one of my favorite songs of all time, actually. Come on. You loved it. If you were around for it, you loved it. By Jan Hammer. And it's not because his last name is Hammer. Actually, he's more Czech than German, but that's okay. Come on, between the electric drums, the synthesizers, the keyboards, and the guitar all meshed into one, giving you a visual of Miami. Like, oh, and the fact that it even charted. Not a lot of TV songs chart. This charted nicely. I think it went into the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. It was close to number 1, if not number 1. But I know it was in the top 10. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Would I lie to you? Is that a rhetorical question or a song by the Eurythmics? Strong vocals by Annie Lennox. Very strong. I mean, aside from the brass section, which almost dominates the song, you don't seem to mind it when you're listening to Annie Lennox singing. When you're listening to the guitar riffs, when you're listening to the keyboards. And the drums are so, powerfully hit. Like you'd swear they got Dave Grohl or Vinnie Paul on the drums by standard, or by comparison, sorry. But a great song, like definitely one I would definitely put on my iPod if it wasn't already there. It was either this or everybody's working for the weekend. And again, because I'm a sucker for bass tones, I always have been. If the bass is nice and it rolls, if you can roll it in a hum and off the tip of your tongue when you're listening to it, I'm not going to lie. If it wasn't for Crank, I would have never appreciated this song any more than I did back then. But thanks to Crank, I appreciate it a lot more now. But again, a lot of it is the bass line. The guitar is just an easy 2-chord structure, easy to play. I play it occasionally, but one of, if not my favorite, Loverboy songs. Memories. Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. This is the Pick and Pack theme song. When I was working in a warehouse in the West End, that was our theme song. We added a lot of swear words into it, but that's beside the point. I'm not going to lie. The first time I saw this cover, when I was a wee little Trev, it gave me nightmares. Of course, Nightmare on Elm Street gave me nightmares. So did Pet Sematary, but that's a different story for a different time. But after you get over your fear of the record, and you actually listen to song 1, Total Eclipse of the Heart, it's, for a ballad, and I'm not a big fan of ballads, but for a ballad, it's a beautiful song. Our first cover, and not a bad cover at all, coming at number 3, Bananarama's cover of Venus. Now, if you're a big fan of Nirvana, and you've read the liner notes to Bleach, and you came across the name Robbie Van Leeuwen, he was in Shocking Blue. Shocking Blue was the band that originally did Venus. They also did Love Buzz, for where you're wondering where I was going with that Nirvana reference. But it was one of those rare instances where the original song had already gone number 1 back when it came out in the 60s, and Bananarama went number 1 when they did this cover. So, because it's a cover, I'll give it the pass. Because it's a great cover, I'll give it the pass. But definitely one of my favorite songs of all time. Two. And I'm surprised I didn't put this in part 1 either. Pop Goes the World by Men Without Hats. Song about a band that includes Johnny and Janie, and they play multi-instruments in the band called The Human Race. It's a catchy tune. It is. With the keyboards, the synthesizers, the overall tone of the song. Yeah, the vocals are a little scratchy. They might be the biggest grower for a lot of people who aren't familiar with it, but you get past that. You look at the musical structure of the song, it's done nice. It's done very nice. Definitely a masterpiece. And I can recall many times coming home on a Friday afternoon, phoning into the radio station saying, hey, play Pop Goes the World. And I think it was maybe 3 or 4 times they actually played it with my voice saying, hey, play it. So that was cool. Number 1, and the whole reason why covers are on this list. Run With Us by Lisa Lougheed. Yes, it was a cover, if you can believe that or not. Initially, it was done by a guy named Steve Lunt, and it was done for season 1 of The Raccoons. If you followed CBC television back in the 80s, you'll know what I'm talking about. But for whatever reason, probably for a good reason, they asked Lisa Lougheed to do it from season 2 onward. Did you know? Lisa Lougheed was Lisa Raccoon for 6 episodes in 1984-85. And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. But the song itself didn't really need a bass line when you had synthesized bass line. And listening to the cover, listening to the low heat version, yeah, it's probably better that it's associated with her. Not to say that the original is a bad song, because it's not. It's not the same version to what you remember as a kid growing up. And trust me, the song was huge in my childhood, and probably for a few other people watching's childhood. But to not include this one on this list would have been a crime in itself. So I'm justifying myself on this. So this is part 2 of Trev's top 10 songs of the 80s. This is episode 13. Trev Tops 10s here on Trev TV. Thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you're here. I'm sorry I'm not going to rickroll you at the end after I've already rickrolled you at the beginning. So you don't have to worry about rickrolling. If you want to turn it off now, you can, but I'd really rather you watch the end. Even though I'm just going to go through credits and hype up my channel and yada yada yada. But if you like this video, hit that like button. There's a subscribe button over here too. I keep pointing to this end, but it's not at this end, it's at this end. You know what to do. You know what I want. You know what it does. Let's make it happen. All my socials, they're in the description down below, as is the link for part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, check that out. Who knows, maybe I'll make a part 3 on this one. I'd imagine I probably will. But either way, moving forward, I haven't really got a general idea, but if you want me to do a part 3, I'll do a part 3. If not, I'll move to something else. I got a lot of top 10s I want to tackle. But either way, in the meantime, and in between time, be looking for more videos from Trev. Later.